Yeah, you can start.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for your patient waiting. I think it has been quite some time that we were supposed to start, and right away we go into the presentation. So to begin with, I have used two symbols. One is the lotus and the other one is the butterfly. So what significance has these two symbols got? So butterfly symbolizes acceptance of each phase of life, and it communicates a lot about its fate as everything around it changes. And lotus represents all four elements: the earth, water, air, and fire. The meaning of lotus flower in Buddhism states every person has the potential to become perfect and enlightened, and it is just a matter of time until each human reaches that light. So I chose the symbol because it signifies the symbol of purity, enlightenment, self-regeneration, and rebirth, which is the ultimate goal of every human. Lotus has its own life cycle, and what is very special about lotus is that it submerges itself into the water every night, and every morning it miraculously reblooms, and it's very sparklingly clean. So that is the speciality of it. During the noon it closes, and during the night it submerges, and every morning it is kind of rebirth. That's what we could witness as far as lotus is concerned. And with its daily life, it communicates a lot of life messages, I would say. It says it's about life, it's about death, it's about re-emergence. And it's such a wonder that we have these symbols, and universe has got so much to share to the human beings through all its forms, I would say. And universe sends messages through such symbols. So please next. So now let us explore what universe is. It is the energy that is all around us. It is filled with every possibility that we can imagine. And what matters most is that we never forget that only we can control. We should never forget that we should only can control the things that make us feel full of happiness, love, joy, whatever emotion that we experience. So I'm grateful to the universe for the so many things that is around me, so many things that is around us. So the wheel of gratefulness represents all that we could be grateful for, and awesome parents, a lot of things we can connect with. So now, is the universe listening? Does it have a rhythm? This requires an elaborate answer, but let me keep this understanding down to earth. Why I chose rhythms as my theme for today is because I would towards the end I would be able to communicate uh, 3.0 and how it is connected with the rhythms. So I synchronize a lot of things that is happening around me, the inner voice, the vibrations, and the neuron vibrations, neuron experiences that we have as rhythms. I was able to connect a lot with rhythms, and that is why I chose rhythms as the theme for today's presentation. And I've always felt that universe is always listening and waiting to hear from us. And many a times I felt that the problems I threw to the vast space got answered, and that reassures to me that there is so much of vibrant energy that is around us, and the universe is always listening to us. Next. So now in 1971, I found my space here and began my journey as a curious human being. With till date, I have been experiencing a lot of learning and wonderful experiences, I would say. So the universe is my guiding spirit, which encompasses beautiful creations. With every day I learn, and it has got its own purpose. There are so many spirits around us, and we could feel the energy around us. So it is it a miracle? And how do my neurons perceive all these experiences? Became a question of thought to me, and how the neurons and the universe are connected is something which I wanted to explore and I intended to explore it further and found something interesting. And this video will communicate to us a lot about how the neurons and the universe have a similar rhythm. So this little video communicates a lot about how the neural network and astrophysics is connected. And the scientists used 4 micrometer thick slice of human cortex, the outer layer of the brain, from the cortex, which is responsible for language, sensory information, thought, memory, and consciousness. Different parts of the brain are structured for different purposes, while the key feature is consciousness. A key feature of the universe is again the uniformity in all directions, I would say. So the links between neurons in the brain are for the transmission of sensory information, while the links in the universe transmits energy and matter alone. And I think the video consolidates it. So the energy of the universe is present in different forms, and nature is one strong form that can communicate a lot to the human beings. So it has got many messages through nature. And in our GBP, we can connect that with Nature Smart, Music Smart, Cosmic Smart, network in our brain as intelligences. So we get to experience many things through nature, and we learn to solve problems by understanding the cycle of nature, seasons, elements, and various other natural creations. So the neuroscience of rhythms refer to the various forms of rhythm generated by the central nervous system and nerve cells, also known as the neurons in the human brain, which are capable of firing in specific patterns, which we call it as oscillations. So this is a little bit elaborate to discuss about. So we understand that we brain possesses a lot of oscillators, which help us to connect with our inner world and also helps us to find the balance within that complexity. To help us bridge gaps between ourselves and others, and between any seeming contradiction in who we think ourselves to be. And I felt this journey after GBP has strengthened this vibe to prepare me for that eternal journey. And I think I'm a little progressive. So recently I read the story of 7 grandfathers. The creator gave spirits known as 7 grandfathers the responsibility to watch over the unishable people. And The grandfather sent the messenger down to earth to find someone to communicate the values to unreachable people. After searching in all directions, the messenger found a baby, and the grandfathers instructed the messenger to take the baby around the earth for 7 years to learn the values which they are supposed to learn as a way of life. So after their return, the grandfathers gave the baby, and who was a young boy then, 7 teachings. You can see the display of the 7 values there: love, respect, bravery, truth, honesty, and humility, which I chose to speak because I could understand how the neurons of our brain have adapted these values from the earth since we all descended here. Thank you, Jim. So nature smart being high, I've always observed nature having a message in various forms. Video need not be played. I think we can proceed with the slides. Nature being smart, nature smart being high, I have always observed nature having the message in various forms. And for example, water, the story of the river Ganga teaches the spirit of acceptance. Next, I would like to talk about Ramakrishna Paramahansa's story about the fish. Using the fish, he communicates about 4 kinds of people. The story of fish communicates that there was a fishing net was cast, and there were so many fishes who could sense that the danger was approaching, and they never even came towards the net. And there were others who came in and leaped again back in the water, and there were fishes which sensed it again, and some of them were ignorant. So this is the kind of 4 kinds of people which we can come across in our life, and again, their neural networks functioning based on the universal connection. So now it has got such an influence in the humankind. So next I talk about Earth, and a small instance I would like to remember here is a Mexican painter's masterpiece. On top of the painting, he wrote, "God does not exist." So later in the gallery, a group of men worked and allowed people to see the work again after completing it, and people saw God. All negative words were brushed out. So there is a kind of a message in each and every incident and experience that we come across. And nature is so powerful. The elements of nature are so powerful, and we can understand that all our fingerprints or represent the patterns, the rhythms that the elements are present, that elements are present in our body. And we identify that as a personality, as such as water personality, air personality, and we do have the characteristics of the elements. Next sheet. So every person is characterized by one of these elements. We call it as kind of a pattern, brain design, we call it as. And while all the 5 elements are present in every person, one or a blend of 2 or 3 elements are dominant and form the personal rhythm. So this tells us a great deal about the individual's health, personality, challenges, and spiritual journey, which we identify in the form of GBP and the UPID that we try to identify using the fingerprint scanning. So each element has got a certain strength and certain vulnerabilities. When one element is excessively strong or weak, physical, emotional, and spiritual imbalances may occur. So this is the kind of understanding we can acquire from the elements. Now, a small activity. Can we just try, identifying the code of brain code of nature? So there is a small activity which I thought we'll have it today, and maybe you can just try to, give your imaginative brain codes for nature in the chat box. So I think it'll take some time, and let us try to do this exercise on a different day, maybe. So, Jeev, shall we go to the next slide, please?
Is this all right?
Okay, Ji. Yeah. So, I have a brain design, and mostly, I mean, around 80% is affective and 20% is cognitive. And what I personally feel is that as a child, as a person, as an adult, three things, a few more, of course, I have not mentioned it here. Loyalty, punctuality, and perseverance is something which form the core of my personality. So I value loyalty and expect the same from others. Please emphasis on traditions, then planning things in advance, enjoy order and organization in all areas of life, including home, work, family, and task. So that's the kind of personality my UID communicates about me. And concrete sequential is high, and I believe I'm a lifelong learner. I started assuming responsibilities since my childhood, at home, caring, instructing others, and being a good listener as well. The young and the old confide to me very easily. So, being a left brainer with a dominant affective score and adaptiveness high, I have my own challenges, of course, for the workplace. Being a mother, being a spouse, being a teacher, being these personalities, playing different roles. I have my own challenges as well, according to my UID. So, as a learner, optimal learning takes place with materials related to real life situations as far as my learning is concerned. And I look forward to a lot of facts and information in order to substantiate my learning. So, too much of theory and heavy focus on problems are definitely not my cup of tea. So, taking responsibility for my actions come naturally to me and take pride in my work as well because my dominance is high. So, I have dominance and compliance is high. So I have a strong intention to do things better and give it time and energy and finish each task with maximum accuracy and patience as far as I could. And I prefer to analyze things, check their facts, and arrive at a particular course of action. And I have little tolerance for indecisiveness, but lose patience even more quickly if my chosen course is challenged. So that's a kind of personality I uh, strive as. So I always remember myself with strong conviction, belief, work, relationship, and everything. So being dominance high, what are my challenges? What are my fears? It's like being taken advantage and or appearing weak or something is something which failure to achieve. That is also my challenge because I always look at the results and accuracy and all that. And with compliance, of course, like fear of failure is definitely there, and lack of control is again my fear, and it creates creating high standards is my objective. So it's a kind of personality I am. So my brain memory has got a lot of significant experiences as visual stored in my memory lobes. And I used to enjoy music and listen to talks of great personalities, and this has been on and off happening. And with GBP, it's like laid a lot of emphasis, and I don't spare any kind of informative or message that I come across, and I tend to look into all those things very carefully. So now my journey started with Spark. Yeah, the previous one. So I'm in the process of becoming a better version of myself. So that is for sure. And becoming the change is another thing as a mentor. So to talk about myself as a mother, and I'll definitely talk about it when I talk about my family UIDs, and I'm sure a lot more to come. So I started my journey with the Spark, and I continued with the Ignite. A lot of transformation from one stage to another, and I'm sure you must be able to recall the Spark delivery and the Ignite delivery, and now the 3.0. So I felt rhythms of rediscovery is something which is happening now with Sergi's sessions in the morning. the DDS sessions, as well as, of course, the brain yoga. The pranayama is something Sergi has communicated a little more about Sadhguru's brain exploration. So that also is communicated a lot about how pranayama is very important and how brain yoga is going to be playing an important role in our transformation. So I think not just the discovery, even the self-discovery, rediscovery is also very important to us. Now, this is my family, and I'll start with my mother. My mother, of course, like she's got that C1X in the right frontal. She would look forward to perfection, and with the D2 on the right parietal, she's actually a good sportswoman, and D2 on the left parietal. It talks about how when she speaks, even her body language, associates certain gestures, and it will, make it more expressive. So that's a kind of, language she uses. And with C1X and C3X in the left frontal, I'm sure she required a little more of support as far as financial management is concerned. Had it been there, and I'm sure she must have been feeling much better as a confident woman. She is, of course, confident, but it should have made her much more confident. So the C1X here communicates that she lays a lot of emphasis on tradition, and she's got kind of a protocol in her mind, and she doesn't accept that change easily. And whenever that change happens, the emotion gets triggered, and then the emotion gets triggered. Her emotional delivery is totally different. So that's a kind of personality my mother is. But GBP, I have been communicating a lot about how she could overcome all these things, and she's trying her level best now. And the next one is my brother. He's got next one in the left frontal, and as it is by default, X1 has its own challenges and also kind of experience which I have recorded here is that there were a lot of delays. He used to be very lazy, and making decisions and all those things. So he required definitely kind of support, or I would say a little bit of push, and a lot of delays were there in his execution. So with C1 and C1, I see him as a very good speaker and very much inclined to learn a lot of things. And C1 on the left temporal and the right temporal, I see him as a multilinguist. He speaks at least 5 languages, and he's that sort of person. And with his D2 in the occipital, he's very good as far as his technical designing part is concerned. And as a CEO, he definitely needs a kind of support in making things happen, decisions, and his inclination towards art and music and cooking, everything is very evident. So when I saw his GBP, I was able to connect a lot of real life experiences which I had come across, and he's quite emotional. So with the design, I have been trying to communicate a lot about how he can and what are the areas he should focus, and that is a little bit of interpretation about his. And this is the sister-in-law, my sister-in-law, who's got an R1, R2, and R1. She definitely needs a kind of motivation in order to perform her task, and R1 challenges are definitely there. And of course, like we are trying to make it more understandable nowadays, and it is helping them. When it comes to my UID and my husband's UID, the major difference that we experience is, sorry, thinking and feeling. I'm more of a thinking person, he's more of a feeling person. So thinking is like, for me, it is important to be right than being light. For him, it is important to be light than being right. And the next challenge that we face is decisions based on facts, and his decisions are based on moods, emotions, and personal views. So that is where the major difference happens with between us. And change is difficult to handle at times for me, and for him, he's like he goes with the flow. So these are a few things which I thought I should share here. And you can see my daughter, whose ID is UID is given towards the end. There is a polar difference between my daughter and myself. Where I expected a lot of perfection, I would see her lazy, laid back, and a lot of initiative needs to be pushed. And she would not accept that easily. And she would perform as she decides, and that is how she was. When she was in with practical work and all that, she definitely had difficulties, and now she is coping up with her performances, and she's all on her own. And extra, of course, like we cannot judge their performances. Certain uncertainties are definitely by default to be accepted. So I could see a lot of changes taking place in the days to come. I'm expecting a few more changes to happen. So next is my mother-in-law. Uh, she also has an R2 in the prefrontal, and a C3X in the frontal, and there is an R2 in the so she is also like a people person, and she definitely wants to help people. She's very generous, and she's very spontaneous with people. She's quite popular here, and that's the kind of personality she is. And reflective, it has got its own default qualities. Uh, she definitely needs a kind of motivation. She's very cooperative. She's people centric and always dependent on people. So that's what I would like to consolidate about her. And that's our family UID. And we'll go to the next one. So with all these things and a lot of experiences that come my way, I'm just positive about it. I'm just going with the flow. We'll go to the next. So now it is the rhythms of brains. I have come across a lot of brain designs so far, and I'm just trying to communicate a little more about them and the experiences which I had with the brain designs. We'll go to the next slide. So this is the UIDs. So this is the UID of Arul Nikit. He is a left brainer, and his auditory and visual learning are strong. He is cognitive and emulative 68.71%. And his working memory is good, being a left brain intuitive. He is able to perform well in his academics. And as we know that this kind of intuitive learners will look at the patterns. They will have their own patterns of learning, and with this particular child has got his own potential to perform, and he's quite fast in academics. He takes it his way. Apart from that, what we understand here is his convergence is high because the small x which we find in the left frontal. So he's always analytical in his thought process, and there are a few substrates which he had to address in his behavior profile, and we could see that there's self-motivation because he wants everything his way. You could find that in C1, the prefrontal reflected here, and we could see the C1 and C3 here, where his people connect is limited, and his sports skills are good. He is participating in sports, and he's quite motivated as far as sports are concerned, activities are concerned in school. So now the frontal part has got its own challenge. So I think the child has been communicated about how he should focus on and the areas that he's supposed to focus. And the convergence part is communicated in a subtle way in order to make him understand where his focus is required. And he is in grade 9 and he's moving to grade 10, and he's very cooperative as far as the information is concerned about the GBP, and he had given his feedback, which I will be sharing later on. His this profile is like dominance and compliance high, and he's an outdoor personality. So that's what I could understand about his profile, and he was taken through the entire profile, and the child was able to reflect a lot about the uh, where he should supposed to and where the challenges were as far as his profile is concerned, and many things he was able to agree with. So that is the communication I have about this child. We'll go to the next one. So this UID is about the joyful parenting. This is the UID of a parent. We took the family profile of the mother, father, and the child, and I was really amazed to see the family report, because all the three of them are accelerated learners, and the mother and father are right brainers, and the child is a left brainer. And the long-term memory part was quite similar as far as he had a lot of sync with his father. He was able to, a lot of activities or even behavior style and subtraits, everything he was able to, the genetic transmission or genetic reception is like, I was able to understand that he has got a lot of things in sync with his father. So now coming to talk about this person, she's got a small challenge with people management. She's definitely analytical, at the same time high self-esteem, and she's got a little bit of issues with the people management with the D2 in the right prefrontal. And there is an X1, and we definitely know, we have come across a lot of X1 and this is where she had a little bit of compatibility issues, issues with understanding with her spouse, and she was able to understand a lot about the differences that she was perceiving, and she has given her feedback about the translation that she is experiencing now. So with the left temporal C3 and right temporal C3, she has got her own skills of writing. She's got her own skills of composing music. And she has in fact shared some of her writings, I would say. And she in fact shared in the during the counseling that she used to compose rhymes for the child for every routine that the child is supposed to practice. So that is a kind of a learning that I could take from this client. And, like the feedback that she's shared communicates how joyful she is now, looking forward to a positive transformation. So we'll go to the next one, sir. So this is the UID of the child. We could see he also has C2 and C3 here with the A2 and C3 in the prefrontal. So the C3 here, the child he has got interest, a lot of interest in music, like his mother, and he is very much inclined to draw images of mythological characters, and artistic bent of mind is so good, and the parent was able to share few of his drawing, and I could see that the child, he is spiritually inclined to Shiva. So now the parent was advised to, put him in drawing classes, and the experience the parent shared with me was his artistic thought process, creative thought process needs to be widened. So this is the communication she was able to share, because the child was sticking on to one particular pattern of diagrams, like he's sticking on more to the mythological characters. So that's what she was able to share as far as the this part is concerned. And the child is hyperactive as far as the parent is concerned. I mean, the reports are concerned, and they were quite worried about how the child would be performing. And we could see the data that is given here, prefrontal and frontal, and how the convergence is working here. So the hyperactivity was evident when we interacted with the child, and they were given suitable exercises or even advice or suggestions to enhance his extracurricular activities, whereby he will be able to learn on the go. So that is the communication I have about this particular parent. And I think we'll go to the next one. So, so this is my one of the clients. We could see all of us are talking about how innovation is taking place with X1, and I would like to give a good example of this child. He is good at archery. He's a self learner. You can see like all the right lobes or right brain is cognitive, and he's very creative. And innovation, as far as innovation is concerned, I would say he has learned archery all on his own. And one particular day when I spoke to him about his skill, and I was trying to locate somebody who can really train him in archery. And this child, I told him, I gave him a spot, and he took a piece of a thermo sheet, and he just hung it to one of the clotheslines. And I drew I drew a circle, and from a distance, he was able to, like exactly pitch, exactly fly his bow. It was just a stick, but he was able to do that, and very very sharp, very perfect, very accurate to the spot. To the spot he did it, and nothing came out of the circle. So that is the kind of skill he has developed, and I was able to recollect a lot of other things he was able to demonstrate. And I would say, like, X1, as sir has been mentioning, innovation, yes, we can have a lot of examples like that to communicate parents and to reassure other parents that yes, every child is unique, and the children with X1 are definitely special and very unique. So to substantiate that, a lot of examples over there in our brain design, in our GBP experience. And coming to talk about the daughter, and she's got R1 in the parietal. And here I would like to state that she is a topper in the school, and reflective personality. They are definitely unique in their own way when you are given the right environment, when you are given the right nurturing. And she's an example where I can see the certificate that she's acquired. She's been awarded from her college. So here is a testimonial about the parent, about the children and the experience of GBP the parent had. So we'll go to the next, this one, Joe, the purple one.
Hi, I am Jagdish here, parent of two kids, Ashita and Jay Harshad. Well, I just wanted to give you my feedback on that. Well, my son is in class 6 and he's moving to class 7 coming academic year. And I'm very happy that the predictions made by Miss Prabha based on his fingerprints was, I would say, it was 100% accurate on dot. I would say this because one, we had our own prejudice about our word because he resembled a family member of us and he had all those characters, and probably we thought it could be a reason. But the prediction what she made was 100% on dot. Well, and that helped us to analyze and understand our word much better. And Probably, I think it would help us to take a direction in which he should be comfortably moving going forward. Okay. Now, coming to our elder ward, Harshita, who's in the final year of engineering, final year of her college studies in undergraduation, who wants to pursue her higher studies. Well, yes, again, probably, in my opinion, what I felt was I should have done some kind of this kind of a study probably when she was in class 6 or 7. But then, yes, we are happy with the report, the analysis of her as well, and it was very abstract. And I would only say that I should have done that exercise for my daughter when she was quite young. Anyways, right now we know where we are heading to and what we should be doing, and we know there is a beacon up there, and yes, and it's lit up the path for them. And as a parent, I can vouch for this product. Thank you very much.
So this is the daughter's feedback. I don't know if the audio will be.
This is Harshita Jagdish. I'm currently pursuing my final year of college, and I recently
Is it
took
a
the
little?
genetic drill profiling with Mrs. Prabha. It was really astonishing to see the results and relate to it. The results were very accurate, and I was able to see my personality through it and understand more about myself. Uh, it was very helpful seeing my strength, my weakness, and where I could improve myself. And the career counseling part of the profiling was very useful. And I think it is very useful to see where you can excel, what you can do to improve yourself, and what are your strengths to play with. It was really eye opening.
Hi,
One
I'm
second.
Jagdish here, parent of
This
two
is
kids.
Harshita
I'm
Okay, so this is another child's UID. Um, so to talk about this child, a lot of capacities, abilities I was able to see. She's very sociable, and her spontaneity to connect with people was very evident, and her creativity, especially, like she's very expressive about herself through stories, through writing poetries, through narrating stories, and she's very imaginative and creative. So the C3 and C3 and sorry, C3 and C3, and we have all the D2s and D3s contributing, but of course they all come with certain challenges. By and large, so she is actually very energetic and who loves to entertain people, and she's been given due inputs in order to enhance her skills, and it has really helped the parent to understand where exactly her skills are, and you could see like a lot of skills are very evident in the multiple intelligences, and we find word smart, we find her music smart and picture smart, everything contributing to her characteristic, and the UID communicates it very well, where you could see the C1 and C3 and C3 in the temporal all communicating her skills as such. So, talking about her energy lobes, of course, a lot of communication has been given to the parent about the efficiency of the child and where exactly she needs to focus. And she's also been given guidance to take healthcare, coaching, childcare, kind of, and her media studies, of course, is very strong, and that also has been suggested to the parent um, as far as her education and career profile is concerned. So I think now I was able to see a lot of things happening, and the parent is given very good feedback about the progress of the child, and a lot of approach has also changed as far as this parent is concerned. Now, this is the relationship, the rhythm of relationship is the topic which I chose for these two people. And they have their issues. We can see there is a D2X here, and there is an X1 here, and there is a C3X here, and everything contributing to emotional clash. So with the X3 again, it's like let me do things when I think I should. Do not push me. That's a kind of exercise. I mean, that is the kind of experience she's been going through. And after the GBP, they were able to understand the impact of the experiences of each other. And there is a common understanding that is prevailing now as they have understood the UIDs better. So the feedback is good from the couple, and it has really helped them to now it has really helped them now to focus on the child more, and the all the three of them make a better family now. So that's what I was able to understand from the experience of this. So we'll go to the next one. So here is a self-discovery. I think he is very candid in communicating about his transformation. And this guy, he had difficulties in his career. He has challenges in his career. He has challenges in communicating with people. A lot of issues he had, even resource management, everything he had. And after GBP, he was able to understand a lot about himself, and there is such a transformation that has taken place. And the C3 and D3, how he was communicating with people, how he was managing, and why he was blaming people, all that was communicated, and he was able to understand where his weakness is and strength is. So this is the translation of his communication given in brief for us to understand what kind of experience he has been going through. And here is the feedback. So initially he thought, so these are the experiences of other parents who we have been providing support through GBP. And these parents were able to understand a lot about their children. And as far as their academic support is concerned, the learner style was explained to them using the desk, using the Riaset, using the sensory and intuitive part, and even the brain speed and all that. The parents were able to understand where exactly they are supposed to lay emphasis, and it's kind of a progressive experience for the parents, and this is the kind of feedback they've given for the kind of experience they've gone through. As Sergi was mentioning, a WhatsApp group has been created in order to stay connected with the parents, and there are about 25 participants, and we keep sharing what is being posted in our groups just to motivate them, and again to keep them informed about what's happening. And this is Mrs. Gauri, the principal, the retired principal, and she has got a small testimonial.
Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Gauri, the retired principal of Sindhi Vidyalaya Matriculation Higher Secondary School, Coimbatore. Mrs. Prabha Muthukrishnan was the vice principal during my tenure. She is a personification of dedication and diligence. Any work entrusted to her would be done with utmost care and sincerity. She had a unique way of dealing with the children. She used to be strict. At the same time, she did have a motherly affection towards the children. She took pains to train the children for the competitions held at various schools. Well, after my recent association with Mrs. Prabha and my exposure through her to GVP had really made a difference in my life. There were days I used to ponder over very small things, petty things, and worry for hours and days. But GVP, through Prabha, has given me a wonderful outlook in life a unique way of looking at things and not worrying over things which I should not worry about. So, thanks to GBP, through Prabha, I'm sure Prabha will do a wonderful job to the society by committing herself to the GBP. Thank you.
So the other two is
யூஎஸ்சி என்னோட சன் அனீஷ் அண்ட் டாட்டர் பிரீத்திக்கு 2 பேர்த்துக்கும் அந்த பிரெயின் ப்ரொஃபைல் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தேன் நான் இன்னைக்கு. ஸோ இது பார்க்கும்போது வந்து சன் இப்போ தான் 10th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கான். ஸோ ஃப்யூச்சரில் எப்படி ஒரு ஸ்டெப் ஃபார்வர்ட் போகிறது அப்படின்றதுக்கு எனக்கு ஒரு யோசனை இருந்ததுனால தான் இந்த இது டெஸ்ட் பண்ணோம். ஸோ இதோட ரிசல்ட்ஸ் வச்சு பார்க்கும்போது வந்து அவன் எந்த ஃபீல்டில் வந்து போனால் ஹில் பி பிரைட்டுன்றது வந்து ஐ எம் ஏபிள் டு கம் டு அன் ஒரு ஐடியா எனக்கு கிடச்சிருக்கு. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் ஐ கேன் கோ ஃபார்வர்ட் வித் தட். ஸோ அதில் அவன் ஸ்டைல் பண்ணால் நல்லாயிருக்கும் ஒரு சயின்ஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட் அப்படின்றது வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு ஐடியா கிடச்சிருக்கு இப்போ எனக்கு. ஸோ அந்த மோர் ஓவர் அவனோட கேரக்டர் ஸ்டடி அவனோட ட்ரைட்ஸ் இதெல்லாம் எப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது வந்து இட்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்து கரெக்டாக தான் இருக்குது. ஸோ இட் ஆர் கோயின்சைட்ஸ் அது எல்லாமே கரெக்டாக இருக்குது. டாட்டரை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் ஷி ஹட் கம்ப்ளீட்டட் அட் காலேஜ், நவ் ஷி இஸ் இன் ஜாப். ஸோ இதை பார்க்கும்போது வந்து அவள் ஃபர்தராக எப்படி அவள் இன்ட்ரெஸ்டட் எந்த ஃபீல்டில் போனால் நல்லாயிருக்கும், ஹவு ஷி கேன் அச்சீவ் அவர் கோல், அவளோட ட்ரீம் மேக்கிங்கில் எப்படி பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்றதும் வந்து எனக்கு இந்த ரிசல்ட்ஸை வச்சு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணும்போது ஷி இஸ் ஆல்சோ சாட்டிஸ்ஃபைட் வித் ரிசல்ட்ஸு. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் என்னோடய டாட்டரும் சன்னுக்கும் ஃப்யூச்சருக்கு வந்து இது ரொம்ப ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்றது நான் நினைக்கிறேன். தேங்க்யூ.
Hello, good evening everybody. This is Dr. Thirmalaikan. Actually, we thank Prabha for the proper guidance for taking all of us the genetic profile, brain profiling. Actually, we don't have any idea about taking this, but after Prabha's advice, we have taken for all the 4 members of our family, and we came to know that all the features of our brain and about our soul, what it is actually, it is meant for it, and we actually understood each and everyone's brain lessoning, so that it will be it is easy for us to handle the situation with every one of us. So actually we have very wrong opinion about the other peoples, but now we understand that we need to take others' mind also. So we hope we'll do it in a best way, and our as per kids profiling, it is very best, and we understood that it is very useful for their career also. We make sure that we'll follow this advice and the training sessions for them from them, so that it will be useful for our futures also. Thank you, Prabha, for your kind help.
Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Gauri.
so the reflection of myself. All these things communicate a lot when we try to communicate, interpret the GDP reports. A lot of contemplation takes place, and I'm able to connect a lot of experiences as we decode. And it's a kind of lot of motivation happens at the same time. It gives self-motivation as well, and I'm trying to give my best to people who I come across. And when I think about how to respond to people in situations and about how actions are perceived by others, like the decoding part, which each day I get to learn from sir, and a lot of interpretations taking place, contributed by other people, other members. I'm able to understand a lot about the brain design, and I'm able to connect it at the right time, and it helps me to reflect upon my own self, as well as what I could best contribute to others. And learning from this process of contemplation, awareness takes place, and identifying to change negative behavior, feelings, attitudes. And it's actually a learning journey, I would say. And I know achieving the goal of eternity is definitely on the go. Good. So, as I shared earlier about how Sadhguru emphasizes and how Sarji communicates about the brain yoga. This is the natural rhythm of life. It can bring us closer to nature. It can bring us closer to ourselves and to others. So the simple recipe that I thought I would share with you today, which I found this particular piece of image was very useful. I felt dancing to the beat of our own drum and singing out loud and laughing even louder. Love unconditionally. Love yourself first. Spread kindness everywhere you go. And don't sacrifice your values to fit in. And do all things with love. I was able to, like, many times I felt that the last one, don't sacrifice your values to fit. Many times I used to feel that I don't fit into some place. And, when I come across certain experiences, I always feel that somewhere I need to change myself, or where I should wake up. I think I'm able to, completely be in tune with the rhythm of life now after the GBP experience and the kind of experiences which people give me in terms of mm, their journey and such. So through GBP, it is a wonderful transformation that is taking place inside me, and which I also try to contribute as much as possible to others. So we've come to the end of our presentation. Each day I wake up with immense blessings around us, and it makes me feel that I've been led by the universe to experience many things. It is like it is the universe that communicates a lot. See, especially when I think I need some solution, there comes a message, there comes an information, which is like I feel universe is communicating to me whenever I needed a support. So that is like I've always felt universe is very close to my heart, and I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky, sea, and air, everything communicating and contributing to my learning process. And I also feel that there are generations of elders and ancestors who thrive around us, who are messengers or in the form of spirits, who also communicate, who also send us the message at the right time. So universe is something which I always believe in, and which has given me, offered me a lot of things in my life. So this is the whole list, and I dedicate this moment completely to the universe. The next one. Yes, the mentors who made me travel to this day, and most important day in my life, who have laid a lot of trust in me, contributed their share. And I would like to thank Sarji. I would like to thank Raviji for the motivation. Sarji, especially the kind of motivation he gives me from behind the scene is immense. And every day there is a kind of enlightening that happens with the DDS, and some few days I miss out, but I used to feel very guilty for not attending, and it is definitely. So Raviji, definitely, he is a mentor, and he has been very motivational. He used to guide me a lot as far as the approach to schools are concerned. Suresh, as usual, of immense support whenever approached. Thank you, Suresh. And thank you, Bhupalanji and Priyaji, for all your contributions whenever approached. And you all made my day big today. And all the members gathered here despite the delays and everything. And I think today has been the best day in my life for all the trust and patience and motivational presence I'm enjoying today. Uh, I think universe has planned to make me a part of this journey with you today, and this is a very memorable evening to me.